welcome to Yoga with Miss Melissa. Today we're going to focus on courage. And the story from the Bible that we're going to think about and focus on is the story of Daniel. You might remember the story about Daniel being in the lion's den. But first I want to show you a few ways that we're going to learn how to do breathing a little bit differently today. So you might notice I have a few things on my mat. I've got a blanket that's rolled up. I've also got a pillow. And I have a few yoga blocks. You could also use books if you had them at home too. We're going to try a different sitting position while we listen to our Bible story. So take whatever you have at your home and I want you to put it on your mat. Kind of in the middle and towards the back. This is where we're going to sit. So we're going to bring our feet in front of us in easy pose, but we're going to put our sitting bones on top of our pillow, our blanket, or our block. Whatever's comfortable for you. Your feet are just going to sit right in front of your body, just crossed like they would normally. If this is uncomfortable for you and you like to sit better with your sitting bones on your mat, feel free to do that instead. I thought this would be an interesting way to try opening up our hips and also keeping a long and straight spine. If you think about your hips as being like a bowl, we want it to be level, sitting on our mat. But when our spine curves, the bowl tips. And that crunches our lungs and makes it harder for us to take deep breaths. So today we're working on keeping our hip bones level, meaning straight, which also keeps our spine nice and straight and strong, which keeps our chest open and allows for our lungs to breathe in and breathe out deeply. So to begin, we're going to put one hand on our heart and one hand on our tummy. And let's just start slowing down our breath. Taking in deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth so we can hear them. Another deep breath in, and another breath out. You might choose to close your eyes as we're breathing in and out. Feel free to do that if that makes you feel comfortable. I'm going to share our story with you as you're in this sitting posture. If you want to change out your hands at some point, feel free to do that. And while you're breathing, see if you can feel your hand that's on your stomach rising and falling, and maybe the beating of your heart under your hand that's at your chest. Keep breathing deeply in and out, feeling your hands rising and falling. So if we think back to the story of Daniel, the king at that time made Daniel an important leader in the kingdom because he was very smart. And the king liked him. But the other leaders in the kingdom, they didn't like that Daniel was above them because he was a captive from Israel. They decided that they would get Daniel in trouble. So the king would get rid of Daniel. But they couldn't do it because Daniel was obeying all of the laws. The only way they could get Daniel in trouble was by tricking the king into passing a new law. The law said that everyone had to pray to the king. And if you didn't, you would go to the lion's den and be fed to the hungry lions. Well, Daniel said he would pray only to God every day, even after the law was passed. And Daniel was caught praying to God. So they threw him into the den of lions, and boy, were they hungry. The Bible says that God sent an angel to protect Daniel from the lions. And the next day, Daniel was taken out of the lion's den without a scratch. The king was so happy that God protected Daniel, and he told the story to all the people of his empire. The story of Daniel is very encouraging, especially when you realize that Daniel was a normal person just like you and me. You may experience times that you need to find courage. Remember the story of Daniel and how his prayers to God made him safe and brave. So as you're breathing in and out, maybe let's pair some words of courage and bravery. Maybe as we breathe in, we say, I am strong. And as we breathe out, we say, I am brave. Breathing in, I can do all things. Breathing out through Christ who strengthens me. Breathing in, I can trust. Breathing out on God. Those are just some examples of how we can use our breath and our words to pray and to center ourselves so that even when things are scary, or we're unsure, or we're nervous or anxious, we know we can rely and trust on God, just like Daniel. So our poses today are going to help us remember to feel brave and courageous. They're strong poses. They're going to use big muscles. And then at the end, we'll take a final rest to take in all of our practice and to maybe say a silent prayer to God and thank him for stories of Daniel and for his presence in our life. One more breath in and out. Feels good to breathe deep. So I'm going to move my extra things off my mat. We're not going to need them anymore for our practice today. And we're going to begin in a tabletop. So, turning our body so that our wrists are under our shoulders and our knees are under our hips. We've done this pose many times for cat and cow. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take our right hand and stretch it out. Now you're balancing on just 3 parts of your body, your 2 knees and your left hand. Draw your stomach muscles in tight to your spine. And if you'd like to, stretch your left foot back. Now we're just balancing on 2 parts of our body. And if you want to make it more tricky, lift the toes of your left foot off your mat. Feel your stomach muscles. They're so strong and tight right now, holding your body. And if you want to make it a little more tricky, take a deep breath in and stretch. And as you breathe out, bring your elbow to your knee. Let's try that again. Breathe in and stretch. And out to our knee. If you lose your balance, that's okay. Just come back and join us. Take another deep breath in. Our last one, stretch like you could touch the opposite sides of the room. And as you breathe out, your right elbow touches your left knee. Ooh, let's sit back for a minute. Working my shoulders, my stomach, my arms, feeling very strong. All right, let's come back into our tabletop. Check in with your hands. Make sure they're right under your shoulders. Your knees are right under your hips. And we're going to stretch our left hand out, straight and strong. Breathing in and out as we balance on our knees and our right hand. And then we're going to extend our right toes to the back of our mat. Leave your toes on your mat to begin. Feel that strong, straight line that your body is making. If you want to make it more tricky, go ahead and lift up those right toes, still drawing your tummy muscles into your spine, keeping that torso strong. More tricky, take a breath in and stretch. And as you breathe out, bring your left elbow to your right knee. Take a deep breath in and stretch. Breathing out, our elbow comes to our knee. One more time, take a deep breath in and out as we bring that knee to our elbow. Bringing our hand and our knee back to the mat. We're going to push up into a down dog.
So keeping our hands under our shoulders, curling our toes, we're gonna push our pockets up to the sky. You may need to walk your hands out a little bit as you're making this upside down V. Take a moment, bend your knees, and push your pockets up closer as if you could reach the sky. Feel that straight, strong line that your back is making. Your knees can stay bent or your legs can be straight. Some of us might be able to reach our heels to the mat. Not me. I'm keeping mine up. I feel that stretch along the backs of my legs, and I feel it in my arms and my shoulders, and I let my head dangle loosely like a grape on a stem. Take one more breath in and out. And our next breath in, we're gonna come into a strong plank. So walk your hands out just a bit, and then as you breathe out, come all the way down to your stomach. Uncurl your toes. Get your hands right under your shoulders. And we're gonna lift up into a cobra. Take a deep breath in and we rise up. Now you may choose to do some different things here. You might move your elbows under your shoulders and get a deeper stretch on your back. Or you might want to push all the way up and feel that stretch through your back, your shoulders, and your chest. Taking another deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we come back down slowly. And let's take a moment just to lay in what we call upside down Shavasana. So this is our final resting pose, but this time we're laying on our stomach. Take another deep breath in, and maybe change the direction of your face and put your other ear on the mat. And a deep breath out. When you're ready, bring your hands under your shoulders and let's push up, back into tabletop. We're going to bring our right knee up in front, and we're going to notice that we have our knee right above our ankle and coming right straight out of our hip. Our left knee is right under our hip, so we're making two almost right angles. We're going to do dragon pose. So we're going to take a deep breath in and bring our hands up. And as we breathe out, we push our arms behind us and lean forward. Breathing in, let's bring our hands up in front this time and maybe get a little bit of a back bend and push our hips forward and feel that stretch. And as we breathe out, we push back and away. This time, let's hear our breath. Take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, let's sound like a dragon. Breathing fire. Awesome job. Taking a breath in, let's bring our hands to heart center and let's change our knees. So we'll bring our right knee down and we'll bring our left knee up. And again, we're gonna check my ankle is and my knee are in a straight line and my knee on the mat is right in line with my hip. My toes are uncurled. So if your toe looks like this, it's harder to balance. So maybe uncurl your toe. Let's take a deep breath in and bring our hands up. And breathe out and push them away behind us, leaning forward. Taking a deep breath in, this time bringing our hands up in front of our body, stretching out that right hip and maybe getting a little bit of a back bend. And as we breathe out, we push our hands away and we lean forward just a little. Breathing in one more time, hands up to the sky, bending, pushing, stretching, and out. Let's hear your breath as we breathe fire like a dragon. Awesome job. Putting our hands on the mat, we're going to push up into a down dog. Walk your feet in and slowly move your hands back to your feet. Let's just take a moment in this forward fold. Your hands may be on the mat. They might be on your ankles or your shins or maybe your knees. Your knees can be bent or they can be straight. Take a deep breath in, letting your neck dangle, your head floating, like a beach ball on the ocean. Take one more breath in and out. And on your next breath in, let's slowly roll up. Awesome. Few more strong poses. So let's bring our feet together in mountain. We've been working on mountain for several weeks. So I know that you know how to get into a strong mountain. Finding your four corners of your feet, rocking back and forth, bringing your hands here, 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 or maybe making a mountaintop above your head. Let's take our deep breath in and out. Maybe closing our eyes for a minute. Let's go back to that breath that we started the class with. Maybe we remind ourselves of our words as we breathe in, I am strong. As we breathe out, I am brave. Breathing in, I can do all things. Breathing out through Christ who strengthens me. Breathing in, I can trust. Breathing out, my awesome, awesome God. All right, let's put a little space between our feet if that's more comfortable, or you can leave your feet together. We're going to do chair pose. So we're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to bring our hands above our head. And as we breathe out, we're going to sit back into our imaginary chair. Keeping our hands up if we're comfortable with that, and working to keep our arms in line with our ears. If this hurts, let's not do it. Bring your hands to heart center. Let's keep a straight and strong back. It's not important how far you bend your knees, just feeling like you're firing up those big, strong leg muscles. And as if you're sitting in an imaginary chair right behind you. Take one more breath in. And as you breathe out, let's straighten and bring our hands down to our side. This time, everyone put some space between your feet. So let's get our feet almost like they're right under our hip bones. And we're gonna put our hands out right in front of us. And we're gonna take a deep breath in. This is a different version of chair. And as we sit back this time into our imaginary chair, we leave our hands coming straight out from our shoulders. Draw your stomach muscles into your spine, keeping your torso nice and strong. Your knees are bending as far as comfortable for you, and you feel those big leg muscles working, holding our body up. Maybe we stretch our fingers a little bit more forward. Take another breath in. And as we breathe out, we stand back up and bring our hands down to our side. Nice work. All right, one more in our chair series. And this time, we're gonna keep our feet apart and we're gonna come up onto our toes. Let's bring our hands to heart center. And this may be where you stay. But if you'd like to make it more tricky, take a deep breath in and slowly start bending your knees. Oh, you may lose your balance a little bit. If you fall out, that's okay. You've got time to come back in. Draw your stomach muscles in, keeping them strong. Your big leg muscles are working to hold you and you're balancing on your toes. Let's hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Let's straighten our legs and bring our heels back to the mat. Nice work. Let's do a little stretch. So we'll bring our feet out. Keep your toes in line with the sides of your mat. Let's not turn them out. Let's keep them in. Take a breath in and we're going to stretch our arms out to the side into a 5-pointed star. So the 5 points of the star are your feet, your hands, and your head's the top of the star. Draw your stomach muscles in, and on your next breath in, stretch straight and long, and as you breathe out, forward fold. Bringing your hands to the mat, or to your feet, or maybe to your legs, whatever's comfortable for you. Let your head hang gently, feeling that stretch across your back and your backs of your legs. If you want to make it more tricky, put your fingers under your heels and you can pull gently, feeling the stretch deepen on the backs of your legs. Take one more breath in and out. And if your fingers are under your heels, go ahead and bring them out. And on our next breath in, slowly come back up. And let's bring our feet together, our hands at heart center, and we'll do a balance pose. We'll do tree today. So we have a lot of different ways to do tree. We can begin by simply taking our right foot next to our left and leaving our right toes on the mat. Turning our knee out. This is a balance pose. If you'd like to make it more tricky, you can bring your foot up to the inside of your calf. That's that lower part of your leg. More tricky? Sure. If you'd like, you can bring your foot all the way up into the inside of your left thigh. Not on our knee. We like to avoid our knee because that can cause pain to our knee and cause injuries. Our hands can stay at heart center, or you can grow your branches. Go back to that deep breath that we began our practice with. Stretching your fingers, balancing. If you fall out, remember, you can always jump right back in. Take another deep breath in. And if you want to make it even more tricky, try to stand on your left toes. Woo, just for a second. Next breath out. Bring your hands back to heart center. And let's put our right foot back to the mat. Let's do tree on the other side. So we'll start by turning our left knee out and starting with our left foot just gently propped up against our right. And notice I'm keeping my hip and leg in a straight line. I'm not pushing out to the side. That can also cause us some pain. So staying strong, this is your tree. If you'd like to add on or make it more tricky, you can bring your left foot up to the calf of your right leg. Or even more tricky, you can bring it all the way up to the inside of your right leg. Your hands can stay at heart center, or you can grow your branches. Feeling that strong right leg holding up your body, keeping a straight line like a trunk of a tree. You can even move your branches maybe a little bit. Ooh, might change your balance. Oftentimes we have a side that's easier to balance on and a side that's harder. That's okay. We keep our practice up every day and we'll get equally strong on both sides. If you want to make it more tricky, try to come up on those right toes. Big breeze in my forest. My tree's tumbling, 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 and we bring our left foot down. Awesome job. That's the end of our standing practice. So we're going to come onto the mat and we're going to do knees to chest. So go ahead and lay down and bring in your knees into your chest. You may have your hands here on your knees, gently pulling those knees into your body. Or you may choose to wrap your arms around, reaching for your wrists or your elbows, whatever you can reach. And maybe you just kind of roll back and forth a little bit. Or just work on breathing in and letting go a little of that grip on your hands. And breathing out, drawing your knees into your body. Breathing in, we let in a little more space for our lungs to fill. Breathing out, we can draw our knees in even closer, feeling that stretch. Awesome. Let's let go of our knees and we'll go ahead and we'll stretch our legs out to the ends of our mat. It's time for our final resting pose. So we'll bring our hands down to our sides with our palms up. Our feet start together and then they open like the pages of a book. We can even put a little more space between our heels if that's more comfortable for our body. And maybe before we get all the way into our final resting pose, let's put our hand back on our stomach and back on our heart and start to take those deep breaths in and out that we began our class with. Breathing in and out, slowing down, letting your body absorb all of the work that it did in our practice today. In and out, slowing down. When you're ready, you can bring your hands back to your sides, palms up, And feel your body sinking into your mat. No tension, no more work, just relaxing into the mat and feeling the weight of the earth pulling you softly, gently into a resting pose. I loved doing yoga with you again today. And I love knowing that we have stories like Daniel in the lion's den to read when we need to be reminded of how God is there to protect us, even when times are scary, even when things are hard, when we feel our most tiny in the world, God is there. So as you rest in your final resting pose, remember that God is there, always and forever. Continue to lay in your final resting pose for as long as you'd like, breathing in deeply, slowly. I enjoyed practicing with you today. I look forward to seeing you again when we can practice and grow our breath and our faith and love for God. See you soon. Namaste.